Okay, we started this concept yesterday. We did number 1. We're going to do number 2. Now, some of you have had me before, some of you have not, but I did say whenever you have an x squared, your equation better equal 0. Great, nice job. Okay, so I'm going to make this sine squared x minus 2 sine x equals 0. I moved this to the other side by using subtraction. Who can tell me what my next move would be? Sorry, factoring, yes. I'm going to factor out a GCF. What is the GCF? Sine x. So I'm going to take out a sine x, and that leaves me with sine x minus 2. So these two items, this and this, are called, you just said it a minute ago, factors, okay? I said each of my factors equal to 0. Sorry. So I'm going to have sine x equals 0 and sine x minus 2 equals 0, okay? So sine x equals 0, there's no work to be done. I'm going to take out my handy-dandy hand calculator. And how many fingers do I want up? 0 fingers. So that means my thumb is going to be down. My thumb is how many degrees? 0 degrees. Okay? I know 0 fingers up on the thumb side, which means the thumb has to be down. Okay. Don't get into the thumb is not a finger. We're not getting into that. All students take classes. It is a positive. So where is sign positive? A and S, all and sine. So 0 is already in that all. Whenever I solve that, it is always neighborhood 1. So neighborhood 1 is done. I need to put a 0. Oh, there is no 0, sorry. Where is 0? 0 degrees, and where else? 360 degrees. And yes, I did miss. You're right. Over here, 0 degrees off of 180 is 180 degrees. 0 degrees off of 180 is 180. Yes, 180 minus 0 is 180. So 0, 360, and 180. 360 is there because 0 and 360 mean the same location. Yes, it has a double address. Okay. So there we go. Good? All right. Now, I'm going to solve this one. And I'm going to tell you it is not a solution. Can somebody tell me why it's not a solution? Yes, ma'am. Excellent. So if you do the finger trick, the highest you could have in the numerator is 2, and 2 divided by 2 is 1 whole. Who can explain it another way? Think about when you did all those fancy graphs last semester, those fancy trig graphs. What's the lowest? On a unit circle, what's the lowest number? -1. What's the highest? +1. So this is not a solution. It is outside the range of -1 to 1. It's outside the range. So these are my solutions: 0, 180, and 360. You can do it with your eye. Okay. All right. We good? All right, let's look at number 3. Okay, what would you like me to do? Add what? Add 2. Cosecant squared x equals 2. Now what would you like me to do? You'd like me to square root. So square root, cosecant x equals the square root of 2. Okay. I don't like cosecant because it doesn't work on my hand. My hand only works with things that use cosine. Well, I guess it does use cosine and sine. So what could I transfer this to? Sine. So if I do sine x, that is 1 over the square root of 2. I need to rationalize the denominator. I know I didn't spend a lot of time on that, but can somebody explain to me how to rationalize a denominator? Yes. Yep, multiply the top and the bottom by that square root. Beautiful. So that gives me the square root of 2 over 2. How many fingers up? On the thumb side, how many fingers up? 2. 2 fingers up. And so which finger's down? The middle finger, which is how many degrees? 45 degrees. Okay. Now, 45 degrees, sine is positive. Where is sine positive? Neighborhood 1 and 2. So I already have neighborhood 1, 45 degrees. So I need to go 45 degrees off of 180. Am I going forward or backwards? Backwards. So 180 minus 45, because I'm traveling backwards, gives me 135. How many solutions do I have? 2 solutions. This was problem number 3. Yes, question. Can you ask the question again? Where it's located? How I got the 45? Okay, so the numerator has a 2. It is sine, so am I going to count from the thumb or from the pinky? Thumb. So 1, 2, 2 fingers up, which means the next finger has to be down. Good? And so then 0, 30, 45, the 45 fingers down. No. Are we good? All right. Because technically, all the numerators are square root. It's just the square root of 1 is 1 and the square root of 4 is 2. So they simplify. But 2 and 3 don't. The square root of 2 and the square root of 3 do not simplify. They're actually decimal answers. Okay, so sine is positive. So I went to my positive chart. All positive, sine positive, tangent positive, cosine positive. So all trig is positive, so automatically going to pick quadrant 1. Sine, I'm talking about sine, so I'm going to pick the sine neighborhood, quadrant 2. And then, so it's here. When I put the angle in, it has to be off of the x line. So this, when I put my angle in, it is behind the 180 line, so I subtract it. If I moved forward, I would add. So we'll look at another example when I do move forward, okay? All right, so please, let's go to number 4. And I will tell you, number 4, this morning, I didn't have enough coffee, and I made them do FOIL and all this stuff, and we don't need to. When you solve a polynomial, what do you have to do? You have to factor it. Number 4 is already factored, so the work is pretty much done, okay? So what is the first factor? Square root of 3 tan x minus 1. Okay, I'm just going to work with the first factor first, okay? So this equals 0. I'm going to add 1 to both sides. Square root of 3 tan x equals 1. What would I do next? Divide by the square root of 3. So tan equals 1 over the square root of 3. Okay. All right, good. 1 over the square root of 3. Now, tangent is what over what? Sine over cosine. So, thumb pinky? How many fingers on the thumb side? 1. How many on the pinky side? 3. So which finger is down? The pointer finger. How many degrees is the pointer finger? 30 degrees. So 30 degrees. Okay. Yes. So the numerator is always sine, which is the thumb side. So I want 1 finger up on this side, 3 on this side. So if I want 1 over 3, 1 over. So whatever I say over, that finger bends down. So 1 over 3. Okay? All right, so we got 30 degrees. 30 may or may not be my answer. It's my measurement, but I have to figure out the quadrant. So that's where I use all students take cash. Okay? Whatever acronym. A really stands for all. S stands for sine, tangent, cosine. Tangent is positive. So which 2 am I going to circle? All and tangent. Okay? So all is what we find. So we're done, right? All is done. The angle measure you find at the first is always quadrant 1. And we want quadrant 1, so I don't need to do any more work. Now, for quadrant 3, I need to go, did I go forward off the 180 or backwards? Forward. So I'm going to do 180 plus the measurement 30, which gives me 210. So what are my 2 answers for this factor? 30 and 210. Yes. Hi. Did you have a question? I'm in the way. Good. All right, well, we're going to do the second factor, and let's see if we can make it a little clearer. Okay? All right, so let me clear some space. All right, what is the second factor? Minus the square root of 3 equals 0. Okay, madam, what's my first move? What's my first move? I'm going to add the square root of 3. It equals the square root of 3. What do I put this over to make it a fraction? 1. Okay. On the thumb side, how many fingers do I want up? 3 fingers. 3 over 1. Which finger should be down, madam? The ring finger. How many degrees is the ring finger? How much? 60 degrees. Excellent. Okay, so now all students take cash. We want these 2 neighborhoods. Okay, what? Okay, why? Okay, what does T stand for? Tangent. So this is the positive chart. It tells me who is positive. Right? Because all trig is positive. That's cosine, sine, and tangent. Only sine is positive. Only tangent's positive. Only cosine's positive. Cotangent would be all. And tangent. Because cotangent is a family member of the tangent. A is every trig is positive. Everybody's positive because this is... on the coordinate grid, your x and your y are positives. So you can only have positive. Okay? All right, so the 60 is the answer for all. I'm going to put a 60-degree angle here. So what do I do? 180 plus 60, which is 240. So this problem really has how many answers? 4. The 2 for the first factor and the 2 for this factor. Okay. Okay. I'm going to pause for a moment. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so we know the angle has to be 60 degrees. We know it's in neighborhood 3. So I always have to move off the x-axis. So I moved 60 degrees off of this number. This number is 180. I moved forward, so that's addition. If I'd moved backwards, I would have to subtract the 60. Okay, so if I go forward, it's plus. If I go backwards, it's always the 180, yes. That's okay. And then over here, you either use 0 or 360. So if I'm going to go backwards 60, 0 minus 60 gives me a negative number. It doesn't help me. So I would do 360 minus 60 if I was in quadrant 4. I would be in quadrant 4 if I told you if I was dealing with cosine and cosine was positive. That would put me in neighborhood 4, quadrant 4. Yes. Well, now if tan had been negative, what 2 quadrants would it have been in? Sine and cosine. It would be in the opposite because this chart only tells me where it's positive. No, it's in the 3rd quadrant because tangent is positive. Okay? All right. Yeah, it has nothing to do with the 3. Yeah. For right now, your answer is in degrees. We will get to radians. I would rather that you guys could find the angle measure. So if this were a 4-point question, okay, well, this is not a good example because this is more than 4 points because there's 2 factors. Let's say it just gave you 1 factor and it was a 4-point question. You're going to get 2 points for figuring out the square root of 3. You would get a point for figuring out the 60. Okay? And then you would get, so you get 2 points for this, a point for this, and then you get a point for finding the additional angle. Okay? I'm going to pause. I'm going to have you guys do number 6. Try number 6 on your own, and I will go over it. Okay. Let's start with, it says, cosine x plus the square root of 2 equals negative cosine of x. What did you guys do first? Okay, so we add a cosine x. So I get 2 cosine x plus the square root of 2 equals 0. 2 cosine x equals negative square root of 2. Divide by 2. Cosine is equal to negative the square root of 2 over 2. Okay? How many fingers up on the pinky side? 2. So which finger's down? Middle finger. How many degrees? 45. 2 fingers up. Middle finger down. You got to count off the pinky. This is number of fingers up. I didn't say. 0, 30, 45, 60. Okay. Oh, hold on. All students take cash. It is negative. So I don't want the positives, which would be A and C. I want the negatives, which would be S and T. Okay? So now I'm going to build a 45 this way and this way. Did I move backwards from 180 or forward? Backwards. So this would be 180 minus 45, which is 135. And this would be forward. 180 plus 45, which is 225 degrees. Because it's in these 2 neighborhoods. Yes. Good. So if it's in, listen, if it's in an even quadrant, you're going to subtract to get the angle. If it's in an odd, you're going to add to get the angle. Okay? Good? All right, please take a moment and try number 8. Number 8. And then we'll go over 8, and I will talk to you about your review for your quiz. All right, let's quickly go over this one so I can go over your Directions for your review. What did you do first? You add 3 to the other side. Beautiful. 4 sine squared x equals 3. Divide by 4. You get sine squared x equals 3 over 4. Square root everything. So then that leaves you with sine x equals square root of 3 over 2, because the square root of 4 is 2. Am I going to count off of the thumb or the pinky? Thumb, how many fingers? 1, 2, 3, so the fourth finger's down. How many degrees is the fourth finger? 60 degrees. Sine is positive. All students take cash. Where is sine positive? A and S. So A is already done. So I just need to find S. So did I go forward or backwards? So 180 minus 60 is 120 degrees. So here's the 180 line. My angle's here, so it's behind the 180. The other thing is if it's in neighborhood 2 or 4, you're going to subtract to find the angle. 1 and 3 we add, 2 and 4 we subtract. Good? All right, so I handed out the paper that is your review.